Let's throw some jabs.
The fight starts now!
All right, Sergio, Gervonta Davis is now 28-0 after a 9th-round TKO win over Hector Luis Garcia. A slow start for Davis ended with a strong finish, with Davis battering Garcia so badly at the end of the 8th round that Garcia was unwilling to come out for the 9th. So, Sergio, were you impressed by Gervonta's performance?
Absolutely, man. How can you not be impressed by Gervonta Davis? I mean, how he is with his power. He's calculating. He's intelligent with it. He kind of assesses the situation. He doesn't go out blasting people away like a young Mike Tyson or a James Kirkland. He takes his time. He breaks that distance with intelligence, and he knows how to let go of the punch whenever he's in range because he's a shorter fighter. If he misses, he's going to be vulnerable. He doesn't do that. And once he has an opponent hurt, he goes for the kill. He doesn't let you wake up. This is what people pay to see, Mannix, and he's becoming an attraction everywhere he goes, from Baltimore to DC to Atlanta. He's a ticket seller. He puts opponents on their butt, and he puts butts in seats. What's not to like?
Yeah, I came into this fight telling everyone that Hector Luis Garcia was a real opponent. The odds makers had him at some point like a double-digit underdog. I never bought that because Hector Luis Garcia, not only was he a legitimate 130-pound champion, he was coming off his 2 best wins, and he had a great trainer in Bob Santos in his corner. So I thought he was legit, so I give Gervonta a ton of credit for taking care of him in the way that he did. I thought Hector Luis Garcia had a really good game plan coming in. He was patient. He wasn't overcommitting on his punches. He wasn't falling into the same traps that Rolly Romero fell into in the last Davis fight. He just eventually got hit with a shot or shots that he couldn't recover from. And I give Davis credit for that. I mean, I think a lot of times we kind of overuse this idea that fighters are downloading data and that they're trying to process information in real time. We use that sometimes as a crutch to talk about a slow start in a fight. But I do think Gervonta Davis, much like Terrence Crawford, does that. I think he's trying to see how an opponent is going to fight him and adjust accordingly. And you saw by those middle rounds, Gervonta slowly but surely closed the distance, slowly but surely became the aggressor. And when he saw the opportunity to strike, he did that. And he has shown at 135 pounds, he has the power to hit guys with game-changing shots.
That's what the elite fighters on the top level do. They take their time. It's patience and maturity that makes a champion. When you have that much power, you could turn everyone's lights out, but whenever you're going for the knockout, you're vulnerable for the knockout. So that's why you got to have patience and maturity, and Tank Davis has both those qualities, and he has this power where it's scary. Like I said, he has that Mike Tyson type power where people don't know how to react to it. But once he does confront someone on the championship level that knows how to react, I want to see how Tank's going to react when it comes back to him. When he starts getting chin checked, when he starts getting battered against the ropes, when he finally gets hurt. We haven't seen that yet because he hasn't fought any champions yet. But so far, I like what I see with him. I mean, his next fight's going to be a mega fight with Ryan Garcia. He's taking care of business. He takes zeros. That's what I like about Tank. He beats whoever they put in front of him. Mario Barrios, undefeated, took his record. Garcia, undefeated. You can go all the way to Jose Pedraza, undefeated. He knocks out unbeaten fighters and takes their donut, Mannix. I mean, I love that. So he's a pay-per-view star. He's a knockout artist. We're all loving what we see, and that's why he's a star.
So you talked about his next fight, and that is hopefully going to be a showdown with Ryan Garcia, one of the most marketable fights, maybe the most marketable fight that you can make in all of boxing right now. From what you saw from Gervonta in the fight against Hector Garcia, does that influence your opinion at all in how a Gervonta-Ryan Garcia fight would play out?
Yes, it does, and I'm going to tell you why. I mean, I've been pretty clear on record saying that I favor Tank over Garcia, and I still kind of do, but I've seen some not flaws, but made me think something. Garcia was a little taller at 5'9". He had longer reach. The other Garcia, Ryan Garcia, is going to be 5'11" and a half, and a longer reach, more explosive, more power, and he maintains that distance as well. That snappy check hook, that right hand. So I just think he's going to have a lot of trouble, Tank is, breaking that distance. If it takes some 6-7 rounds to figure out fighters like Garcia, the one he just fought, Can you imagine how long it's going to take into the second half of the fight to discover the lightning quick hands of Ryan Garcia, the power, So yeah, it makes me question how he's going to react when he gets finally touched, how he's going to break that distance. And what if in a close fight, it comes down to the championship rounds? How's he going to react? How's his conditioning there? Because he's accustomed to knocking out everyone under 6. So that's going to be something we got to keep an eye on.
Look, they're very different fighters, Hector Garcia and Ryan Garcia. Hector Garcia, southpaw, more of a boxer. Ryan Garcia is known for that power and speed. But I'm with you there. I have long slightly favored Ryan Garcia in the Gervonta matchup. I've often said that the first guy that lands the big shot is probably going to win because both these guys have fight-changing power. But like Gervonta, especially as he started to get comfortable in those middle rounds, was lunging a little bit, was dropping his guard a little bit. I think that's probably because he knew that even though Hector Garcia is not a non-puncher, he's not some huge puncher that has the ability to stop Gervonta with one shot. Ryan Garcia does, and that's the kind of fighter that Gervonta has not faced up until this point. Now, you can say the same thing about Ryan. He hasn't faced anyone with the kind of power of Gervonta Davis, but what I'm looking for in this upcoming fight, if it happens in April as planned, is what happens when Gervonta comes in, because he's going to have to come inside against Ryan, drops his guard a little bit, and gets caught. Is he going to be able to stand up to the power that Ryan Garcia has to the head and to the body? That's a big unknown in a fight like this because we haven't seen Gervonta in against that type of pop.
Well, they're both smart power punchers, but if I had to say who has a slightly higher IQ as far as power, I'm gonna go with Tank on that one. Because for him being 5'5", 5'5.5", he knows how to use his height. He doesn't fall off balance. You're talking about lunging, but he lunges when he has his opponents hurt and he's going for the stoppage. He doesn't do that in the first 5 rounds when opponents are fresh. That's IQ, Mannix. Ryan Garcia's been down. We know how he's gonna react when he goes down. We haven't seen how Tank Davis is going to react when he goes down. That's the reason this fight is so interesting, because I can see them both getting hurt, both going down, and it's all going to come down to heart and who's more familiar with fighting hurt. And I think right now, I'm going to favor Tank still, but Garcia's already went through the fire. Tank hasn't.
Yeah, and if you're Tank Davis, there's, in a way, a blueprint to get to Ryan Garcia that we've seen fighters try to use, especially southpaws. We saw Luke Campbell throw that sweeping hook that knocked Ryan Garcia down. Javier Fortuna tried to go to it, but he just didn't have the kind of skills or ability to get there. Tank Davis does. And if Tank Davis can find his way on the inside of Ryan Garcia or catch Ryan Garcia lunging towards him, he's going to have a great chance of picking up a knockout too.